Welcome back, everybody, to the final edition of the Talk with AVC for the season. I am your host, AVC. We are starting with our NBA segment. We got Danny back in here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Don't got to pay for this time, so we're good to go.
All right. Beautiful. So, we are in the home stretch.
The final week.
We are in the last week. So, let's start off with the interesting thing we were just talking about, which is the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown is now apparently out for the year with a torn ligament in his wrist. An injury that I don't think should affect him long-term, like career-wise.
But it just keeps him out.
But it will keep him out for the remainder of the season. I feel like I shouldn't have to ask this question, but I'll just ask it for the sake of context. Is Boston done?
In the terms of making a run past the second round, absolutely no question. The thing is, so first of all, this is like a blindside because how he was out with an ankle injury. And then all of a sudden it comes out that he tore a ligament in his wrist, which is, God forbid. That's terrible. As a Heat fan, this helps so much, but I didn't want it to be this way.
Yeah.
I wanted to beat them legitimately because not like that. But yeah, they're done. They've. And you brought up the point too. This marked the end for does Brad Stevens get the boot?
I don't think it's all his fault. I think he gets a little bit too much heat sometimes. I know he hasn't actually done anything. He's gotten in the conference finals repeatedly. They've yet to make an NBA finals with him. But do you know how many teams in this league would fire their coach if they thought they could get Brad Stevens?
I'd say 9 out of 10 of them.
Do you think the Bucks wouldn't go nuts if they could get Brad Stevens as their coach if they end up firing Budenholzer? Or do you think
the Lakers would fire Vogel in a heartbeat?
Vogel's contract's up in a couple of years anyway.
Yeah, they'd fire him in a heartbeat.
Brad Stevens, any Hornets, if they think they want to develop, they want to develop a winning culture, bring in Stevens to help ball. There are so many teams, and any NCAA team that doesn't have a firmly entrenched coach would want Brad Stevens.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't worry too much about him. But a burning question is starting to ask about me. Less Brad Stevens. Does Danny Ainge need to go?
I'd say yeah, actually. He had all the assets in the world.
This Celtics team, it's not to say that he wasted them because he made some good draft picks. He made some bad draft picks, but he made some good draft picks. But you just can't help but feel like this is one of the most obscene wastes of a championship window I've ever seen.
Well, I feel like people they got to realize too, they're still really young.
They are. The window is still open.
The window's still going to be open for a bit. They got Tatum and Brown locked up long term.
Correct.
So I think they still got room to get better. But with that said, that they should. I feel like it's hard not to expect, especially last year, with when they had Hayward with them too. They just needed a big.
The big thing was 2 years ago when they had the massive roster and then Kyrie went crazy.
Yeah.
I firmly believe had Kyrie kept his cool and the team gelled together and stayed healthy, they would have went to the finals
over Toronto.
And the year before that, they would have went over Cleveland if they actually stayed healthy.
Well, Kyrie got hurt.
If Kyrie and Gordon Hayward stayed healthy that year, they would have gotten to the finals. I don't know if they would have beaten the Warriors. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
But the amount of depth on that roster.
Well, because you got Marcus Smart, you got Scary Terry, you got Tice before he was bad. You got
Tatum, Tice,
Brown,
Marcus Morris,
Jaylen Brown, yeah,
Rob Will. This was a stacked up team, and I think the big issue was with Danny Ainge. Look, again, I firmly believe Jason Tatum will win an NBA championship at some point in his career.
With the Celtics.
Maybe with Boston, maybe somewhere else. If he leaves to go somewhere else and teams up with somebody, I think he'll definitely win one. But he will win one, I believe, at some point in his career.
I agree.
But the big thing with Boston is they never really knew when to pull the trigger.
And they waited a little. I guess if you considered pulling the trigger with Kyrie Irving.
That could technically be considered pulling the trigger. But then after it blew up, they were afraid to do it again.
Yeah.
And think about it. Ever since the Tatum pick, which Tatum got picked after Brown, right?
So and they both were picked third. Yeah. So I think it was Brown. Then Tatum might have been right after.
Okay. So after the Tatum pick, they still had some draft capital left. They traded for Kyrie, and they still had some draft capital left. And after that, they never again pulled the trigger.
I mean, and
They went with taking guys like Romeo Langford and Carson Edwards and Sabij Al-Zawale and like weird like project depth pieces that never really turned out.
The thing is, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like it'd be kind of hard, like after seeing a failure, to pull the trigger a second time again and risk.
I get that.
It's like it's a difficult.
But the thing is, you have a safety net in this situation. With pulling the trigger, you still have, unless you're giving up, and you're not giving up Brown or Tatum, you have that safety net.
That's also true.
You have two young stars, and your draft picks aren't going to be good anyway. So deal the picks. They needed a true defensive star on this team.
I was waiting for them to trade for Miles Turner, and they never did. Miles Turner would have been a perfect fit. You could trust him.
I think that's more on Indiana.
Yeah, I remember he wanted. I remember he was like all over trade. Not at the deadline this year, but like last year going into the season.
Yeah, I think because I believe the original, or that was on Gordon Hayward. I think because the original plan was a sign and trade, sending Hayward to the Pacers and Turner to the Celtics.
That would have been a perfect fit.
That was the sign and trade originally. Then Hayward said, "Nah, I want to go to my hometown Hornets."
Yeah.
And at that point, it was like, wow, crap.
Yeah. I mean, that is a match. Miles Turner would be so good on so many other teams. And he still is so good, but it's just that the Pacers stink.
We should parlay that into Indiana's like.
Yeah. Oh, you heard
such a weird situation. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, the coach and the players are having like a war, which is, I think.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, which I think is funny. Goga Badasi and the assistant coach are going at it.
Oh, my God, that was funny.
But apparently even the head coach and the players aren't even getting along.
I mean, what I need to know is, first of all, the coach needs to be fired.
He's a new hire too, which is like
he needs to go.
Yeah,
anyway.
he needs to get fired. He needs to get fired. You honestly should have kept Nate McMillan probably. I mean, I know he playoff chokes, but at least he helps you win in the regular season. Good God. Yeah.
But imagine having a team where you have three guys scoring over like 15 a game. You got Brogdon, LeVert, an emerging Sabonis. Asset that everybody wants in Miles Turner. And even when healthy, another potential 15-point scorer in TJ Warren.
I forgot he was there. Yeah.
And you're a fringe playoff team.
Either not even if there's no play in tournament, they'd be done. They'd be out, yeah. They'd be out of it right now.
So my question is, and I asked this a bunch of times in the NBA, is what exactly do you do? You're a small market team, so the odds of attracting another marquee superstar is unlikely. So you have to get one either by drafting or by trade. They've done solid. They've done okay drafting over the last few years. It hasn't been great, but they've done some very good trades, and they made some lower budget free agent signings. Like the Brogdon sign and trade,
that was beautiful.
That was great. I didn't see that coming from anywhere. That was great dealing by the Pacers front office. But, and I understand nailing Oladipo for LeVert. Unfortunately, you found out about his health thing afterwards, but.
I mean, thankful for them because they saved his life.
Thank God. But at the time, I'm just looking at it like this is like I thought they were going to be like the 5 or 4 seed. I thought they'd be where the Hawks are right now, and they'd get bounced like first or second round. That's with this team, unfortunately, and it's unfortunate. But what do you do? Do you stay the course and hope for development? And hope for chemistry, or do you blow it up?
I wouldn't blow it up because Sabonis is really, really good. I like the potential future because Brogdon's still young too. I'm pretty sure.
Brogdon's still young, but I don't think his ceiling is as high as we once thought it was.
That's also true, but I kind of like the potential for a Sabonis and Brogdon, and LeVert is like a potential third option. I like that. I think Miles Turner doesn't fit the window. I think Miles Turner gets traded. But
so let me ask: do you blow up everything besides Sabonis? Do you blow everything besides Sabonis and keep Sabonis?
I think Sabonis is the definite only untouchable. I wouldn't go as far as saying blow everything up, but I think the only no question untouchable is Domantas Sabonis.
Right.
But Pacers are in a bad spot right now. It's hard. They need a culture change like now because their players are not the players, but the players and coaches are not getting along.
So we've got another team in trouble right now heading into the playoffs. That is the LA Lakers.
The defending champs. Yeah, they're. Oh yeah, you're sure you're happy.
Just want them to lose. The Lakers are falling, and I believe they're in the play-in tournament.
They are, and I think that's where they're going to end up too, unless
it seems
Portland kind of chokes. But
if I am a Lakers fan, if I have to end up playing the Warriors in the play-in,
that's not fun.
I will be terrified.
Yeah,
Steph Curry is playing like an absolute monster.
Steph Curry. I wouldn't want any of those teams. I wouldn't want to play any of those.
Nobody wants to play the Warriors in a one-game set. In a 7-game set, it's fine, but in a
one-game set, Curry can give you 60 and walk away.
Nobody wants to play the Warriors.
Yeah.
And if LeBron and AD aren't healthy, this Lakers team is garbage.
Yes, and I think that's shown. Although they had a really nice win against the Suns the other day.
That's true.
That was their biggest win of the year, especially without LeBron. But I don't.
That was kind of because Anthony Davis went off.
Yeah.
But
with them healthy,
they probably.
I'd say at the very least Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think any team wants to play the Lakers healthy.
No one does. I think if the Lakers are healthy, they probably go back to the finals, which is unfortunate, but they probably do.
Yeah,
but they're not healthy.
Which would be weird to see as a 7 seed going to the finals.
That's happened before,
yeah.
but it's not. But they're not healthy. That's the point. And what do you do in the regular season? Do you rush them back? Do you save them for playoffs?
The last seed is still up for grabs.
Yeah.
So I'd say, I feel like I think they know that, okay, look, I don't think it matters who we play. I think we can beat anyone when healthy. So I'd say I'd rest up your stars as much as possible until come play in tournament time.
Yeah, that's fair. But just with the Lakers,
it's weird seeing
this is the problems of a top heavy team being exposed.
Yeah,
the problems when you have 2 superstars taking up your entire cap, and then nothing behind them.
Yeah, and
what I know, I will go to my grave never understanding this. As the Lakers front office, with all the assets you had to give up to New Orleans for AD, how is it that of all the assets to keep, you landed on Kyle Kuzma?
I guess he was the hardest to trade actually.
I am a lifelong Kyle Kuzma hater. I never got the hype with him. He just always looked like a bum to me.
Yeah. I remember they compared him to Tatum. Do you remember those days?
Oh God, don't remind me. I never saw any athleticism with the guy. The guy looks like a pylon half the time with the way he walks around. And yeah, he can shoot, but he's not honestly, I think Otto Porter is a better spot-up shooter than Kyle Kuzma, to be completely honest. I mean, the guy he looks like he should be able to defend 3 positions. I don't think he can really defend any.
Yeah,
and all he can do is spot-up shoot, which you can find much cheaper options for doing that. Honestly, I would rather trade Kuzma for assets and bring in Rodney Hood to be my spot-up shooter.
I mean, so shout out to Father Gerard. But I don't know. I guess maybe New Orleans didn't want him.
Maybe
that's the only thing I can think of.
But with all the assets that you had to give up, you really don't. You somehow couldn't have said, "No, we'll keep. I don't know. We'll keep Ball, or we'll keep. Probably weren't going to keep Ingram. So
yeah, Ingram. Ingram had to go.
Ingram, I think, was their highest demand.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Ball. It's hard. But it's my only thing is, I guess maybe I don't know what. They traded Josh Hart too. I'd rather have Josh Hart.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine if the Lakers had just kept taking Tatum at 2 instead of Ball?
Oh my, that'd be crazy.
I mean, they probably never would have gotten Anthony Davis.
Well, yeah, because they wouldn't have traded Tatum for.
Or Tatum would have ended up in New Orleans, and we've got to have gotten Tatum and Zion on the same team.
Although I feel like LeBron and Tatum on the team, because they signed LeBron the next year. LeBron and Tatum together, they wouldn't even have to trade for Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I don't think they would have needed to.
I mean, would that team have gotten to the finals? Probably not, but
well, LeBron probably would have still gotten injured again.
yeah.
So probably not, but would have been interesting.
It would, yeah. How do you see the? So I guess how do you see the rest of the year unfolding?
I think it's a mixed bag. I don't see the seeding is changing that much. I think we're seeing what we're gonna get. Especially with their win over the Clippers, I see the Knicks-Hawks 4-5 matchup kind of like entrenched. The top 3 seeds I don't think are going anywhere. I do definitely think the top seed's going to end in the East is going to end up being Philadelphia. I don't think Brooklyn catches them.
It's going to be close, but I think you're right.
I don't think Brooklyn catches them.
Well, I don't think they care though, honestly.
They probably don't.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't. I think the interesting thing is more in the West with some of these mid-level teams.
Yeah,
the Clippers with Kawhi now with a hand injury. Do you rest him? Do you just?
Yeah, I'd say stay. I'd say rest him. I think they got enough. I think they got enough playing time this year. I feel like I really like this Clippers team going in, especially with the addition of Rondo. I love this Clippers team.
If Kawhi is healthy, I agree with you. But here's an interesting one. Keep an eye on Dallas.
Porzingis and Luka.
If Porzingis is healthy, they are a nightmare matchup
for anyone. Yeah,
for like any roster, nobody would want to play Dallas in the playoffs. I seriously believe that.
I agree. I don't know if they're ready for the finals just yet.
I don't think they are either. I think they'll probably be second round.
But no, you do not want to play that team. That's going to be a tough.
Let me do this way. I don't think Denver beats Dallas if Porzingis is healthy.
If they had Jamal Murray,
they would. But without Murray, I don't think you have anybody to match Luka. I mean, Jokic will do his thing, but if Porzingis is healthy,
I mean, I think Porzingis gets bodied by Jokic because Jokic. I think anyone gets bodied by Jokic.
I think most people get bodied by Jokic, but I think Porzingis could do a good enough job to the point where Luka could just outscore Nuggets.
That'd be a fun matchup to watch because I'm pretty sure Michael Porter Jr. is like emerged as a.
Michael Porter Jr. has, with the absence of Jamal Murray and more reps opening up,
he has emerged
great. As what we all thought he was going to be.
Yes, and shout out to the Knicks for taking Kevin Knox.
Oh my
God. Knicks are good right. Knicks are good right now.
Jesus,
Knicks are good right now, but.
Knicks, please I beg of you, for the sake of your fan base, please don't pull like a 2016 Minnesota Timberwolves.
Just go all in, or
no, just be this decent team with Tibbs and then have locker room issues and blow it up in 2 years. Please don't do that.
I don't see that coming. I think this team's different because
this team, I'll tell you what though, the Knicks will need to strike while the iron's hot this offseason. I think they need to capitalize and get a superstar because I just don't know if this style of play is sustainable for another year before the big free agency class. Because if you had time, see the thing is, I've compared this stretch by the Knicks this year to the Nets with D'Angelo Russell the year before they got.
And then they struck when the iron.
Yeah, exactly, they struck when the iron's hot, and they brought in the marquee superstars to bring into a good culture of winning in a big market city. Unfortunately for the Knicks, this free agency class is nowhere near as good as it was supposed to be.
So next year is
the big one.
Unless Kawhi could opt out. If
Kawhi,
if they don't make it to the finals this year, I'm out of there.
Even if they don't, would you really? Where do you have a better chance of winning with the Clippers in the West, or do you have a better chance of winning with the Knicks in the East, having to deal with the Bucks, Sixers, and the Nets together for at least another year?
Hey, Knicks tape.
I just don't see it.
I mean, I it's weird saying I like the pairing Kawhi and Randall. I never thought I'd say that ever.
It's not a bad pairing, but the issue with the Knicks is the Knicks need a guard. The Knicks need a true number one point guard.
And
Emmanuel Quickley, I like Emmanuel Quickley, but I think he's like Lou Williams.
Six
I
man.
think he's Lou Williams. I think he's a great 6 man.
And then D Rose is probably, I don't know, D Rose. I love D Rose too.
D Rose is basically the PG one, even though he comes off the bench. He's basically the PG one.
Yeah, Peyton stinks. Get him out of there.
Good God. But they need a point guard. And, you know, it's weird because I just don't know who you get.
I haven't even looked
if
at
the
free
Pacers
agency.
blow it up, get Brogdon, if that's a possibility.
I'd say that works. Although I see Brogdon more of a 2 than a 1.
I think he could. I think
He definitely
play
can run the
Brogdon.
1, but I see him more of a 2.
But I just don't know where else do you go at this point. You know, it's just kind of up in the air. But let's just wrap this up with a finals prediction.
Finals prediction?
What do you got?
Oh boy. I'm gonna go Heat. No, I'm kidding. I can't pick the Heat. I love my boys in Miami, but I can't pick them. I'm gonna roll with. It's hard to bet against Brooklyn, so I'm gonna say Brooklyn. I'll be fun, and I'll say the Utah Jazz.
All right.
I'll be fun, even though I don't think that's gonna happen. I think one of the LA teams will get there. I'm gonna say Jazz Nets, and I'm gonna be even more fun and say Jazz in 6. That is not gonna happen. I want to be clear. That is not happening. I'm having fun. But that is my official prediction.
I'm gonna go bold with this. I'm gonna say this will happen.
You're gonna say it will happen.
No, not that.
Okay.
My prediction.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I have Phoenix winning the West. This is assuming, obviously, the Lakers are not 100% in the playoffs. I have Phoenix winning the West. Chris Paul makes his first NBA Finals.
Finally. I hope that happens. That'd be cool.
I have Phoenix in the West. In the East, I have Philly.
I like that.
I have Philly, and it is the perfect story for both teams. Either Chris Paul gets his first long-deserved first ring, Devin Booker finally is realized as a superstar that he is, the Suns become a respectable franchise again, or the process is finalized. Sam Hinkie's dream becomes a reality, and the tank yields a championship.
Yes.
And the Sixers win it all. Ben Simmons is voted finals MVP because he locks off people, and he's finally respected as a superstar. I don't care that he can't shoot
Doc Rivers finally gets the respect that he deserves as a coach.
Doc Rivers wins his second ring.
Oh, man.
That's what I wanted. I want Philly and Phoenix. That's who I want.
That'd be fun. I'd love to see Embiid and Ayton go at each other like two young centers.
So great to watch. And then Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle trying to guard Paul and
Booker.
And Booker. Good God, that'd be fun.
That'd be a fun matchup. I hope it happens.
And then the X factors being Phoenix's rotating like forward core and Tobias Harris playing, and that.
Yeah.
Can Dwight Howard give Joel Embiid some break against Ayton like that?
Which I think he can. I think he would.
That would be such a fun matchup. But I actually, if Harden is not 100%, I legitimately have Philly ahead of Brooklyn, just because of their defense.
It's hard to bet against Durant and KD. Though.
I don't bet against Durant, but without a big three, they need a big three to get to the finals.
They need someone to make. They don't
need a big three to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They need a big three to get to the finals.
I'd say this actually, if it's Harden and KD, I think they get there because Harden can play make. If it's KD and Kyrie, I don't know.
I think they need both of them. I seriously think they need both of them because I think you put Simmons on KD and you put Thybulle on whatever guard is the primary option. No one on that team stopping Joel Embiid.
Yeah, that is true. Embiid's gonna have his way with anyone.
Like Philly is a matchup nightmare for. I don't think people realize how much of a matchup nightmare Philly can be in the playoffs.
The only team that matches up well with them, and it still wouldn't work because I think the talent gap is too much, is Miami because Bam is the only one that can.
Miami matches up well with them, and actually Milwaukee matches up pretty decent with them.
Oh yeah, Brook Lopez is good at deep.
Brook Lopez, Giannis, the tag team on.
Yeah. And then Holiday. That's the thing.
Holiday can lock off all the shooters. And
scratch the Nets. I'm taking Milwaukee. Forgot Holiday was there.
Oh, hell no. No. Milwaukee might lose first round of the Heat again.
No.
Milwaukee might lose first round of the Heat again. Thank you for watching this edition of the Talk with ABC. We'll be right back in a moment with other segments.
Sir.
Milwaukee?